Bipolar disorder is a disorder that causes changes in a person's mood, energy, and ability to function. I'm Camilla, I'm a psychologist, and in this video I'm going to talk you through some of the most important things to know about bipolar disorder, including the different diagnoses that the term covers, their symptoms, and their treatment options. People with bipolar disorder experience intense emotional states that we refer to as mood episodes. There are 3 different types of mood episodes: manic episodes, hypomanic episodes, and major depressive episodes. We'll cover each of them in a bit more detail in just a minute, but it's important to note that people with bipolar disorder generally also experience periods of neutral moods. When treated, people with bipolar disorder can lead full and productive lives. Now, it's completely normal for all of us to experience fluctuations in our mood. That's normal, and that does not mean we have bipolar disorder. One of the differences is that for most of us, when we experience these fluctuations in mood, they'll last for hours at a time, not for days or weeks, as we often see in people suffering from bipolar disorder. For people without bipolar disorder, we also typically don't see that these fluctuations in mood lead to extreme changes in behavior or to difficulties with daily routines or social interactions, as we often see people with bipolar disorder demonstrate during mood episodes. Bipolar disorder can disrupt a person's relationship with their loved ones, and it can make it difficult going to school or work. Bipolar disorder is believed to be caused by different factors, including genetic, environmental, and brain chemistry factors. Some research suggests that certain chemicals in the brain, such as dopamine and serotonin, may play a role in the development of bipolar disorder. Even though the specific causes of bipolar disorder within the brain are unclear, it's believed that an imbalance in brain chemicals lead to dysregulated activity. But what we know for certain is that bipolar disorder often runs in families. Around 80% of people with bipolar disorder have a relative who suffer from either bipolar disorder or depression. Environmental factors such as stress, sleep disturbances, and drugs and alcohol can play a role in triggering mood episodes. Bipolar disorder is a category that includes 3 different diagnoses: bipolar I, bipolar II, and cyclothymic disorder. We'll look at each of those in a minute, but before that, I have a quick favour to ask of you. If you're finding yourself taking any value from this video, please give it a like. It might help the video reach more people who could benefit from knowing more about bipolar disorder, and that would help me in my mission to spread mental health awareness. Thank you. Now let's look at the 3 different diagnoses, starting with bipolar I disorder. Bipolar I disorder is diagnosed when a person experiences a manic episode. Some people with bipolar I disorder may also experience depressive episodes or hypomanic episodes, and most people with bipolar I disorder also have periods of a neutral mood in between episodes. So let's look at each of the 3 types of episodes that we can see in bipolar I disorder. Let's start with the one that has to be present for it to be a diagnosis of bipolar I disorder: manic episodes. A manic episode is a period of at least a week where the person feels high-spirited or irritable for most of the time, most of the days. They'll possess more energy than usual and experience at least 3 of the following changes in behavior: a decreased need for sleep. They could be feeling really energetic in spite of getting significantly less sleep than usual. Increased or faster speech, so either just talking more or talking more quickly, experiencing uncontrollable racing thoughts or quickly changing ideas or topics when speaking, a high degree of distractibility, an increased activity level, for example experiencing restlessness or working on several projects at once, displaying increased risky behavior. Some examples of this could be reckless driving or big spending sprees where we might even spend more money than we actually have available to us. These behaviors must represent a change from the person's usual behavior, and they must be really clear and obvious for friends and families to see. Symptoms must be severe enough to cause disruptions in work, relations, and responsibilities. Symptoms of a manic episode commonly require a person to receive hospital care to stay safe. Some people experiencing manic episodes also experience disorganized thinking, false beliefs, and/or hallucinations, known as psychotic features. Now let's look at hypomanic episodes, which in a lot of ways are similar to manic episodes. The difference is that the symptoms are less severe than we see them in a manic episode, and they only need to last for 4 days in a row rather than for a week as we saw with the manic episodes. Hypomanic symptoms don't lead to the same major problems with daily functioning that manic symptoms commonly cause. The final type of mood episode that we can see in bipolar I disorder is the major depressive episode. A major depressive episode is a period of at least 2 weeks in which a person has at least 5 of the following symptoms, including at least one of the first 2 symptoms: a feeling of intense sadness and despair, a loss of interest in activities that the person once enjoyed. Now, at least one of these first 2 symptoms has to be present for it to be characterized as a major depressive episode. Other symptoms include feelings of worthlessness or guilt, a feeling of fatigue, either an increase or a decrease in sleep, either an increase or a decrease in appetite, experiencing either restlessness, for example pacing, or a slowed speech and movement, having difficulties concentrating, and experiencing frequent thoughts of death or suicide. Now, like I said, for it to be characterized as a major depressive episode, you need to have at least 5 of these symptoms present, including at least one of the 2 first ones. Now, if we look at bipolar II disorder, the symptoms and the definitions of the different types of episodes are the same as we saw in bipolar I disorder. A diagnosis of bipolar II disorder requires someone to have at least one major depressive episode and at least one hypomanic episode. These are the same as described when we talked about bipolar I disorder, but the difference in bipolar II disorder is that we see no manic episodes as we did in bipolar I disorder. What we also tend to see in bipolar II disorder is that people return to the normal level of function in between episodes. It's quite common for people who are diagnosed with bipolar II disorder to only seek out treatment when they've experienced the first major depressive episode. You see, hypomanic episodes can feel quite pleasurable and can even increase performance at school or at work. So people tend to not really see a problem as long as they're only experiencing the hypomanic episodes. People with bipolar II disorder frequently have other mental illnesses as well, such as anxiety disorder or difficulties with drug or alcohol abuse. We sometimes see this as an attempt to self-medicate the major depressive episodes. The third and final diagnosis that fall under the category of bipolar disorder is cyclothymic disorder. Cyclothymic disorder is a milder form of bipolar disorder involving many mood swings, with hypomanic and depressive symptoms occurring frequently. People with cyclothymia experience emotional ups and downs, but with less severe symptoms that we see in bipolar I or II disorder. Cyclothymic disorder symptoms include the following: for at least 2 years, many periods of hypomanic and depressive symptoms, but the symptoms do not meet the criteria for hypomanic or depressive episodes. During the 2-year period, the symptoms, the mood swings, have lasted for at least half the time and have never stopped for more than 2 months. Let's have a look at how you can manage and treat bipolar disorder. Treatment options are very similar for all 3 diagnoses within the category of bipolar disorder. We typically see that there's a good chance of symptoms improving with treatment. Treatment for bipolar disorder typically involves a combination of therapy and medication. Medications such as mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, and antidepressants can all help in managing the symptoms and prevent future episodes. Medications known as mood stabilizers, these are things like lithium, are the most commonly prescribed medication for bipolar disorder. These medications are believed to correct imbalanced brain signaling. Therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy can help people with bipolar disorder learn coping skills, recognize triggers, and develop a relapse prevention plan. If you want to know more about CBT as a therapeutic approach, I'll link a video where I explain more about that in the end card. Because bipolar disorder is a chronic illness in which mood episodes typically reoccur, ongoing preventive treatment is usually recommended. Bipolar disorder treatment is individualized, and people with bipolar disorder may need to try different medications to find the one that works the best for them. In some cases, when medication and therapy haven't helped, it's worth considering electroconvulsive therapy as a treatment option. Now, since bipolar disorder can cause serious disruptions in a person's life and can lead to some stressful family situations, family members may also benefit from seeking out professional resources, such as support groups. This can help families learn coping strategies, and understanding and knowing more about what your loved one with bipolar disorder is going through can also really help you be able to participate actively in treatment and just generally be supportive. Despite the mood extremes, people with bipolar disorder often don't recognize how much their emotional instability disrupts their lives and the lives of their loved ones. This often means that they don't get the help they need. Some people with bipolar disorder also describe enjoying the feeling of euphoria and the cycles of being more productive, but unfortunately the euphoria is always followed by a crash that can leave you depressed and worn out, and perhaps in financial financial, legal, or relationship trouble. If you do recognize any of the symptoms of depression, mania, or hypomania that we've talked about in this video, I do encourage you to go see your doctor or a mental health professional. Bipolar disorder doesn't get better on its own. Getting treatment can help get your symptoms under control. It can help you regain control of your life. Unfortunately, suicidal thoughts and behaviors are common among people with bipolar disorder. If you have any thoughts of hurting yourself, call your local emergency number straight away. There are also free and confidential suicide hotlines that you can either call or chat with. I'll add the links to some of those in the description. If you are in a difficult place right now, know that you're not alone and know that there is help to get. The hardest step is reaching out and asking for the help. You've got this. I upload new psychological content to this channel every single week, all aimed at spreading mental health awareness and helping you improve your mental well-being. If that's interesting to you, I'd love for you to subscribe. Thank you for watching this one. Take care and bye for now.